Northern edge means you are at most risk from the storm surge, and you can see out here now these waves behind me have been whipping up all day. We've been getting them 12, 15 feet. So far they are getting much worse now, and the water is now coming right underneath this, the famous Long Beach boardwalk. This is what everybody has feared. I can tell you, I was here 14 months ago, Brett, when Hurricane Irene came through, and the flooding that I've seen down to my left here going out underneath the boardwalk, out onto the streets where all the homes are on Long Beach, is already much, much worse than it was during Irene. Further to my left, because of the conditions here and our camera angle, we can't quite see it, but there is a lifeguard station that last year, just 14 months ago, in Irene, was swept off its foundations, moved about 100 feet. It's done that again just in the last couple of minutes, and the authorities here have been appealing for people all day to get out. Get out of Long Beach, get across the bridges. Many have done that, a few have stayed here. It is anybody's guess what will happen now, Brett.
Okay, Jonathan, thank you. Stay safe. We'll head down further south. Correspondent Steve Harrigan is in Ocean City, Maryland tonight. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening, Brett. Hurricane force winds here cracking over that seawall. We're seeing 15 to 20-foot waves. Part of the pier has already been destroyed by those waves. The governor making a forceful statement today saying stay in your houses. This storm is going to kill people. We want to limit the loss of life. Stay in the houses. As many as 30,000 people now without power, as these conditions are likely to continue to get worse throughout the night. Brett, back to you.
Okay, Steve, we will monitor that as well in Maryland. Thank you. An ominous sight in Manhattan tonight. A crane working on a 65-story building under construction is now crippled and hovering over Times Square. You can see it there. Officials have ordered the evacuation of upper floors and buildings near that crane. Streets near the area have been cleared and closed off. So the winds pick up there. The Coast Guard has rescued 14 members of the tall ship HMS Bounty, which sank off the North Carolina Outer Banks. 2 Coast Guard helicopters picked up the crew members around 6:30 this morning. Amazing video here, 90 miles southeast of Cape Hatteras. The Guard is searching for 2 other people. The ship is a replica of the original Bounty and was featured in the movie Mutiny on the Bounty. Good luck getting a flight in or out of the East Coast. This is what it looks like at Reagan National Airport here in Washington. The Washington Airport, 10,000 flights have been grounded in the Northeast, and the ripple effect has been felt all over the world. We know where Sandy is right now, again, making landfall. Now let's figure out where she's going. Meteorologist Janice Dean has that from New York. Good evening, Janice.
Yes, Brett, we're in the middle of landfall right now across New Jersey. My best guess is Ocean City, where we saw Steve Harrigan. So we will wait for that update. It's probably coming within the next few minutes, and then they'll issue an advisory at 7 p.m., an official advisory. But let's zoom on in, and I'll show you where we think this storm is making landfall again across portions of southern New Jersey. You can see that kind of exposed center around Atlantic City, and we think landfall, which is the lowest point, the lowest pressure crossing over land. But the effects, feeling the effects of the storm well in advance of this storm system, north and southward, extending 1,000 miles really from the center of this storm. Hurricane force winds close to 200 miles from the center of this storm. So we expect landfall really within the next few minutes. Official landfall. It is making landfall right now, and then it's going to kind of slow down.
Keep up that channel, okay?
Rather quickly, close to 28 miles per hour, moving to the northwest. So that's why we've seen an earlier landfall. But storm surge, this is potentially deadly in areas across the Long Island Sound, 6 to 11 feet with 20 to 30 waves on top of that. And I just want to read this to you, Brett, real quick from the New York office. Life-threatening coastal flooding through tonight with the tide cycle, depending on where you are. Wind gusts anywhere from 70 to 90 miles per hour for Long Island, Connecticut, and New York City. So this is a potentially catastrophic storm system, unfortunately, one that we probably won't know the damage of for days, maybe even weeks ahead.
Okay, Janice, keep it here on Fox for the latest. We appreciate it. The major stock markets, of course, on Wall Street were closed today because of this storm. It's the first unplanned shutdown since 9/11. They will remain closed tomorrow. So is Hurricane Sandy affecting you? Maybe you have a picture. Send me a tweet. You can follow me at Brett there. Vice President Biden does it again. That's later in the grapevine. And up next, an unwelcome timeout in the presidential campaigns, courtesy of Hurricane Sandy. And as we head to break, a look at Ocean City, Maryland. Again, that could be where this thing is coming across right as we speak.
I want to know if Liza was going out to New York to do restoration.
He can't go. If you stop, he won't get this.